Hello bass family, welcome to Everything Bass with Dale Titus. Today we're going to talk about major triads. So let's break it down. A triad is a 3-note chord, and why bass players need to know the chord tones that make up a chord is because those are notes that we can use to rest on, to resolve a line to. Those are notes that are safe, I put that in air quotes, safe to play. Why? Well, let's think about it this way. If the piano player is playing a C, E, and G, which is a C major triad, our bass line, we can play C, E's, and G's and will blend perfectly together. We can rest and hold and sustain on those notes if the intent we want to create is feeling really tied in with the harmony. Is that say that it's bad to sustain other notes and hold them out? No, it's not. It's just that we need to know what the chord tones are, or where the chord tones are, so we also have more control when we want to step away from them and play something that's not a chord tone. And to take this big concept of improvising a bass line over a chord and boiling it down to a good starting point, I'd like to start with just learning what a major triad is. So here, and those of you who are Patreon subscribers, you can download, there'll be a PDF, or there is a PDF there up there on the triad shapes that I'm talking about with some additional information on it. But let's talk about that now. We're going to create a C major triad. Now, what does a major triad contain? Well, it has the tonic or the root, a major third, a perfect fifth interval, and an octave. Well, I include the octave, but really it's the root, third, and five. So if you're unfamiliar with those terms, go back and check out my series called Understanding Intervals, and there's 6 parts. And just go through those, review those, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But let's get it on the bass. So starting with our happy little C here, the 3rd fret of the A string, we're going to call that the root or the tonic. The major third is the E, 2nd fret on the D string, and the perfect fifth is the G, 5th fret on the D string. And I just out of habit always include the octave, which is the 5th fret on the G string. So we've got C, E, G, C. That's a C major triad. If that sounds familiar, all those me that Hollywood likes to have the singers warm up with, that's that me. So that's a C major triad. For those of us who don't experiment with alternate tunings, it makes it really simple to move this shape all around to different tonics and you really just have to memorize this shape. Now, if I break it down to what fingers I'm playing in this particular version, I'm using middle finger, index finger, pinky, and pinky. Now, why that's important is if I move here, I'm going to play an F major triad. I've got root, middle finger, index is the major third, that's the A, C, and then I can play the F there. Now, what happens if, let's say I'm using the 5th fret A on the E string, so the tonic is on the E string. The shape's the same. I'm playing the root, the major third, the perfect fifth, the octave. It's the same shape as I would do if the tonic is on the A string. So you see how simple that is to at least get started. And in true fashion, I'm really keeping the topic to one thing, one fingering pattern. I know there's other fingering shapes you can use. You can start with your pinky, and then you could put the third on the E string or the same string as the tonic. But right now, let's just stay real focused and on one thing. And here's the good news about that. I know all of you can get this down today and never have to relearn it. Being able to play a major triad off of every root you can find. The little extra credit that I would give you is just to try to see if you can make up some bass lines. Just mess around with it, even if you don't have a drum machine, a sequencer or anything, you could just kind of start finding out, what does it sound like? And just mess around with what you can do. Make sure you have your amp on, because it's important to train your ear. Because as you're learning the major triad and playing the arpeggio through, you're training your ear to recognize it. Now I notice I've used the phrase arpeggio, and I don't want anyone to get confused by that. When you arpeggiate a chord, you just play each note, each chord tone of the chord singularly. And so when I play like this, I'm arpeggiating the C major triad. If I play it like this, I'm playing it as a chord. I'm not arpeggiating, I'm letting every note strike at the same time. So don't get confused by that. It's really just arpeggio just means you're stepping through the chord tones. So there you have it. That is a simple enough to learn a major triad. Practice it all over. I was going to save it for another video, but I will show you what happens if it's an open E or an open A, because that's important to know this time. So we can't use our favorite little middle finger, index finger, pinky kind of shape because we're using an open E. So we're going to go open, and then the 4th fret is the major third. We don't have it available here, so we have to put it here. The 5th is the 2nd fret, B, and then the E. So a low E major E major triad is this. If we match that to the E major triad here, it sounds the same, just an octave higher. Same if we're on the A and we want to play an A major triad, we play the open A, 4th fret C sharp, the E is the 5, and then the A on there. So that's an A major if we wanted to use the open string. So that's simple enough. There you go. You will be masters of the major triad today. I promise you that. The Encore Item kind of relates in a good way. I hope all of these are good. But it's an app that I've talked about before. I'm showing it you on the iPad just because it's an easier to see. It's such a bigger image. However, I use it mostly on my iPhone. The Chord Bot Lite, L-I-T-E, Chord, C-H-O-R-D, Bot, B-O-T, Lite, L-I-T-E. That is a free version of the app. After many years, several years, I finally invested and bought the actual full version because it gives you some more. And I'm going to be showing you the full version. I didn't realize it covered up my Chord Bot Lite, but so this is Chord Bot, and it's a sequencer. So when you want to practice scales, arpeggios, like you want to practice today's lesson, but you want to practice it over someone playing, you can actually, it's so cool, like here is the measures, so I have 4 measures, and you can just tap on measure 1 and then choose C by itself. That's a C major triad. Now I'd make them all C, and that's what I'd recommend you guys. Make all the first arpeggios C major. I've got to change some qualities here. There we go. And I got to turn up the volume on this. But then when you push play, you're going to hear a C major chord played. A little shuffle beat, but you can change that. And it's just a simple, and you can also change the style the piano's playing if you just want to have a, play a chord and block the chords so it won't influence your rhythm. And then you can practice playing bass lines and melodies with a backing track. The Chord Bot Lite I used for several years. It doesn't have the visual user interface looks a little different, but it's still very easy to use. If you guys have any issues using it, just let me know in the comment section below, and maybe I can do a little tutorial video on how to use Chord Bot and Chord Bot Lite to help you with your improvisation. Improvisation, I really feel, such a strong tool to really understanding the concept. If you were to go home and say, okay, I know major triads now, but you stop there, you really don't. Until you can create with it, and until you can jam over backing tracks like Chord Bot or with real musicians, the best option of all. I'm not trying to say that the apps are in any way can be a substitute for playing with other players, but I know what it's like when you're not comfortable with a new concept and you have someone else in the room and you're just asking them to play guitar or piano and you're trying to play. Sometimes it feels awkward until you can maybe get home and woodshed it and really figure it out. Then you can jam a little more confidently. So I highly recommend Chord Bot Lite, free. The Chord Bot, I can't remember, I bought it a while back, but it was not very much money at all. I always like to say it was so little money I didn't even have to tell my wife about it. So there you have it. So you're learning the major triad. You've got the Chord Bot, which is available for Android and for Apple, so you can use it on both, no worries. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to be notified of all future videos. Hit the bell icon so you'll get a little red exclamation point every time I upload something. And if you further want to get deeper into what's available with this community, if you go to patreon.com, everything bass with Dale Titus. I'm still struggling over that. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. There's a subscription option, and when you pay a subscription, you will get access to all my written curriculum. I have plans that everything that I do a video for will have some form of PDF that you'll be able to download and maybe print out, put into a binder so it's easier, more accessible. I always like doing that. I like printing out even like user manuals and things, so I have a hard copy. I don't know, I'm old. But, and then I'll have additional content for subscribers available there. Very excited, so thankful that you guys once again stopped by for this lesson. Let me know if you have any comments, questions. If you're a teacher and you want to share some ideas, please do so. This is an open discussion world. This isn't just a one-way discussion. I really love the interchange, going back and forth, ideas, and because I'm looking forward to being a better bass player after we go through this for a while. And I can learn from your guys' comments. I can learn from the suggestions you make and that I hopefully can implement. So it's a very awesome experience. I'm very happy. This has been a great thing to add to my life. So get out there and play, be loud, and I will see you next time.